It was a peaceful evening above California. The sun was setting over the Pacific Ocean, painting the clouds gold and orange. Flight 307 had just taken off from Los Angeles, heading toward Seattle. Everything was calm. Passengers relaxed, and the crew smiled as they served coffee and snacks. Among the passengers was Ava Mitchell, a 19-year-old aviation student from Washington. She was quiet, focused, and always carried a small pilot logbook in her bag. Flying was her dream since childhood, but she had never sat in the cockpit of a real commercial jet until today. An hour into the flight, something went terribly wrong. The plane suddenly shook with a loud jolt. The seatbelt signs flashed, oxygen masks dropped, and the cabin filled with screams. Inside the cockpit, both pilots were slumped over the controls. A malfunction in the pressurization system had knocked them unconscious. The flight attendants tried to open the cockpit door, shouting for help. Panic spread through the cabin. Everyone thought it was the end. But then a calm voice spoke. "I can help," Ava said, standing up. "I'm a pilot. Well, a student pilot. But I can fly." The head flight attendant hesitated. "Are you sure you can do this?" Ava nodded. "If no one else can, I'll try." She was rushed into the cockpit. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the panel. Her heart pounded so hard she could barely breathe, but her hands moved fast. She adjusted the controls, switched to manual, and grabbed the headset. "This is Flight 307, she said into the radio, her voice trembling but clear. "Both pilots are unconscious. I'm a student pilot. I'm taking control." For a few seconds there was only static. Then a voice came through, calm and firm. "Copy that, Flight 307. This is Air Traffic Control, Los Angeles Center. Stay calm, what's your name?" "Ava Mitchell," she replied, trying to steady her voice. Within minutes, her signal was relayed to the U.S. Air Force Command Center. 2 F-22 Raptors were scrambled from a nearby base to intercept and escort the civilian jet. As Ava regained level flight, she spotted 2 gray fighter jets approaching from the left and right side of her window. "Flight 307? This is Falcon 1. The sky outside was dark now, the stars barely visible through heavy clouds. Inside the cockpit, Ava's hands gripped the controls tightly. Her breathing was slow but steady. The radio crackled with the calm voice of the Air Force commander. "Ava, you're doing great. We've got 2 F-22s beside you. Just follow our lead and we'll guide you to Seattle." She looked out the window. 2 sleek fighter jets glided beside her like guardian angels in the night. Their lights blinked softly, one pilot even giving her a thumbs up through the glass. Ava managed a nervous smile. "Roger that, Falcon 1. I'll follow your instructions." Below, hundreds of miles of darkness stretched across the land. The passengers in the cabin sat silent, holding hands, praying. One woman whispered, "Please let that girl bring us home." Inside the cockpit, Ava started the descent checklist from memory. Every button, every switch mattered. "Flaps set," she murmured. "Landing gear armed. Altitude, holding at 15,000 feet. Her voice was calm now, steady, confident. The fighter pilots couldn't believe what they were hearing. "That's her," Falcon 2 said quietly over the comms. "That's Raven. She's back." Ava didn't hear them. Her focus was locked on the runway lights appearing in the distance. Seattle Airport had cleared all other traffic. Fire trucks lined the sides, ready for whatever would happen next. But then, suddenly, the right engine sputtered. A loud bang echoed through the cockpit, followed by a flashing red warning. "Engine 2 failure," Ava said quickly, trying to keep control. The plane tilted hard to the right. Alarms screamed. Passengers cried, "Come on, stay with me," she said, her hands moving fast. She balanced the throttles, corrected the yaw, and straightened the jet. The F-22 pilots watched in shock. "She's flying that thing like a pro," one said. "Tower, this is Raven," Ava said firmly into the radio. "I've lost an engine, but I'm going to land." "Roger that, Raven," the tower replied. "You're clear to land on runway 27. The runway is all yours." Ava took a deep breath. 5,000 feet, 3,000, 1,000. The ground rushed up toward her. The passengers screamed as the plane's shadow touched the runway lights. Ava pulled back gently on the yoke. The plane hit the runway, hard, but stayed straight. The tires screeched, sparks flew, and smoke trailed behind. "Reverse thrust," she called out, pushing the levers. The plane slowed, slower, until finally it stopped completely. Silence. Then cheers, applause, tears. Ava leaned back in the seat, exhausted but smiling. "Runway 27. We're safe," she said softly. Outside, the F-22s circled once more, the pilots saluting through their canopies. "Raven," one whispered. "Welcome back." When the paramedics entered the cockpit, the captain, now awake, looked at her in awe. "You just did the impossible," he said. Ava smiled faintly. "No, sir. I just remembered who I am." And as dawn broke over Seattle, the legend of Raven, the girl who landed the plane alone, was born again. "He got eyes on you," came a voice through the radio. "You're doing great, Ava. Just keep her steady." But then a pause. A whisper over the channel. "Wait a second. That voice, is that Raven?" The second F-22 pilot couldn't believe it. The name Raven was once known across aviation academies. A young prodigy who disappeared years ago after a mysterious training crash. No one knew what happened to her. Until now. And there she was, Raven, back in the skies, flying a passenger jet all alone. At 30,000 feet, with 2 fighter jets guarding her wings, Ava Mitchell took a deep breath. She wasn't just a student anymore. She was a pilot on a mission to save 180 lives.